So first off in this episode we're going to start by making some panelling up for the back of the car to cover a lot of the holes and stuff that's in the back. It looks really untidy at the minute, so just cutting some sheeting up here. So you can see here where the holes I'm talking about, where the original panels have been removed. Now you see in the last video I was going to put the original panels back in, but it looked ugly, so we're making up some panelling. I'm going to paint it satin black and it's going to look a lot fresher than this. Right, there you go. So that's all the panels made up. You can see it looks a lot cleaner. Put some trim around the panels as well. So as you can see, they've been painted satin black as well. Put some self-tappers around. It looks a lot cleaner. So drop a comment in the comment section if you prefer it before or after. So while I was tidying things up, it'd be rude not to paint these top mounts satin black just to go with the rest of the car. Also put some caps on the bolts on the roll cage, just tidying everything in the back here. Done the same on the left side as well and on the cage here. So still one of my absolutely favourite mods on this car. I say it every time, is this carbon roof. So something we need to get on with ages and ages. So we picked up this splitter about a year ago, and as you know it's never been fitted, so we're about to get on with that. So this splitter is designed to fit a Sapphire Cosworth instead of the 3-door Cosworth that they come off. It's like a replica splitter, really well made. We sent the old one back because it was a disaster. So we're just working out how to fit this now without chopping the bumper to pieces as most people do. So we're just going to use these right angled brackets that's going to like push it away from the bumper, so it's going to be able to sit nice and flush to the back of the bumper, because there's obviously nothing to hold it onto the back of the bumper. So just using the heat gun right now to heat up the bumper, just so we can pull it out a little bit further so that we can actually line it up with this splitter, because obviously the splitter is a little bit wider and it's fiberglass, so it doesn't fit as well as we need it to. So we're going to modify the bumper, because obviously the bumper's plastic, we can heat it up and pull it out. So this is the gap we're talking about in a minute. You can see it's quite extreme, but it's no problem. So once we've modified it, heated it up, pulled it out with some bracketry, that will sit nice and flush to that, and it will make the front bumper look a lot wider as well. So starting to get there now, you can see, just heating it up, pulling it out, heating it up, pulling it out. Now what we've done is cut off the towing eye as well, because we didn't want it sticking through that splitter. So we wanted to keep the towing eye spot there, and it's going to sit flush up here against the bumper like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in like obviously a tow strap in the end of it, but you can see we've nearly got rid of that gap. So what the brackets are going to do, they're going to pull the bumper into the splitter itself and just get rid of that gap like that, and it's going to sit nice and flush. You'll see exactly what we mean when we finish it. It's just a little different way to do it. Right, so obviously this splitter is designed to fit a much wider car, so we've had to trim it down in the middle as well, and they've actually managed to get it to fit quite nice and flush. You can see about the best we're going to do. Obviously this is a track car, so it's not going to be perfect. It don't have to be like a show car condition. So you can see here the gap's nearly there, but it's not quite there yet. So you can see here, this is how much we removed out the splitter, and this section here is going to go into here like the original one did in the future. So this spec car cam cover was in a terrible condition when we picked it up, so just give it a quick sand down and a polish. Unfortunately we ain't got the original sticker for it, but you can see it looks a load better than it did, not scratched up anymore. So there you go, all the splitter is bolted on and all the brackets are lined up. Now you can see how wide it looks from this angle. It suits the car down to the ground, so I'm going to quickly show you how we made the brackets. Right, let's quickly get under the car. So you can see we made some brackets that sit on this cross member here, and it pushes the splitter and holds it steady. And then behind that we have some other brackets that sort of push it against the bumper, but it's not bolted to the bumper, so now to drill through the bumper at all. You can see it lines up perfectly and pushes it exactly where we need it to be. So as I said earlier, obviously we've got rid of this towing eye that goes to the anti-roll bar, so we're going to have to sort that out and put a towing strap that comes through, and we'll just cable tie that up. So obviously this was a Safety Devices roll cage, so we've just got some stickers from Safety Devices and stuck them on the cage just to finish it off. Down here on the bulkhead where we removed the sand then, and you can see there was just holes going through to the engine bay. So we put some of that on. You can see up here where the battery's tucked up under the dash, all nice and tidy. And also around the roll cage feet, we just put on some caps just to stop the bolts from being exposed. So we're just going to give the car a quick wash with the jet wash. Going to get some snow foam on it. So we're just using some Auto Finesse stuff. I find this the best stuff at the minute, Auto Finesse and Maguire's. So we've just got some of the Avalanche snow foam. We're going to stick that in the lance and get that on the car. And also we have some iron out as well. So obviously you didn't need to see it being washed, you've seen that a million times. You can see how clean it comes up after a wash, and the white comes up beautiful, the diamond white from Ford. You can see it looks fresh, the car's looking really good, got a good stance on it now. That front splitter has made a massive difference to the looks and the aggressiveness of the front. So just give a quick coat of satin black on these wiper arms, pulled them off and done that. And also underneath the bonnet, you might remember that the breather was hanging on with some cable ties because we removed the heater box from the back of the car. You see on the strut brace now, we've made a bracket up for it. Was thinking of doing like a welded bracket, but just made one up out of aluminium, a bit of steel. And you can see that looks fresh and clean. And then over the next winter, we're going to weld up all these holes and smooth this engine bay off just so it looks tidier. So this is where we hang up all the old crappy parts that come off the car just to renewed with new ones. That's the original steering wheel and obviously the RS4 spoke. This is the cam belt that split when we got all the way to Blackpool to do some mapping. That split, that sorted out the mapping, so we couldn't get that done. Also up on the roof, we've got the original roof that come off the car when we cut it up to put the carbon one on there. But if you remember, we've got the carbon fibre boots to go on there. That will obviously be done in for the track season if we get any this year. And obviously the fiberglass bonnet. You know, we've got an RS Turbo fiberglass bonnet up there and a 90 spec spoiler. That's going to be painted within the next couple of weeks. So since we changed the rocker arms on this car, we didn't have any gaskets at the time spare. We should have got some in, but we didn't. So we're going to change the inlet gaskets just because they're old and they've been here a long time. So these are Victor Ryan's ones, as you can tell, just as good as OE quality. And the Victor Ryan's cork rocker cover gasket is the best one I've used. Now I've used Burton's and whatever, but even with these metal inserts in there, like most of them do have, the cork quality is not good enough. Now we don't even have to use sealant with these, and they seal really well. So if you're having problems with your rocker cover leaking, there's the part number. Get out there and get one. And while we're there, we're going to change the oil filter to a Z-Tech one. It's obviously twice the size of the CVH one, just gives us a little bit of oil filtering capabilities. So just going to change that over now with an oil change. So here's a quick comparison between the 88 spec bumper that was chopped to pieces with the holes and everything everywhere, absolute mess that's just never going back on the car again, in comparison to the 90 spec bumper that we've put on there. It's all been modified. You can see the extra large hole in the top and the front splitter. I think you agree that looks a million times better. So we're going to get on with getting this inlet manifold and the gaskets done now. So just pulled a few tools out to get them done, and you can see already unbolted the top half and how much it was leaking. It's been on and off, and we won't be able to get a gasket for it. So this is a genuine Ford one that we got on there. But actually the Victor Ryan's ones are actually quite thick. They're a lot thicker than these stock ones. So you can see this is nice and flush on here. It's been skimmed in the past. So as most of you know, we're running stage 3 Cosworth greens on the car with a 3-bar map sensor, but that inlet manifold's been on there since the engine has been built, so we're going to change that gasket now. So I just pulled off the inlet manifold here. You can see where the water temperature sensor sits. It's a little bit pitted and a little bit of gasket we've got to remove. So while we've got a chance as well, while the inlet manifold's off, because you haven't seen it on the channel before, you can see the head is actually properly ported with big valves like we said it is. See how nicely that's been done with the EFR head. So you can see the bottom half of the inlet manifold is actually quite a state where someone's done a poor job in the past of trying to sand it down. It's probably not even flush. What was happening, there was a bit of air coming in the water system where this water temperature sensor was, and you can see the gaskets all stuck and everything nasty there. This inlet manifold needs a skim, but there's no engineering companies open in a minute, so just going to scrape off the gasket. Use a bit of sealant around there because it's pitted, and hopefully that'll seal it up while we can get through this corona problem and get it skimmed in the future. So obviously, you know, there was no way of taking this inlet manifold off and giving it a fresh coat of paint. So we're going to go over it satin black, just taped it all up out in the sun. You can see, just sanded it down, wire brushed it down, put a bit of primer on it. And instead of using panel prep, I just use a bit of brake cleaner. It does the job just as well. So this is the comparison between the OE gasket, obviously the green Ford one, and the Victor Ryan's ones. And you can see the one that goes to the head is all broken up. And that's obviously where the air was getting to the system and making it a little bit hot. And you see this has been leaking. But you see how thin they are compared to a Victor Ryan's one. It's pretty much twice the thickness. You can see here. So it's going to have a little bit more sealing capabilities. That's why I go with the Victor Ryan's. It's just such good OE quality stuff. So I just taped up the inlet manifold so no paint gets into the ports, and we're going to polish up the top of the inlet manifold after it's painted. So obviously another chance to see these rocker arms that we fitted in the last episode, and you can see around here where it was all leaking. That's obviously because we had to use the old cork gasket, and once you use them they go hard and they'll never seal again. Don't ever use sealant on them, just use them without sealant and torque them down to the right torques with the proper fittings and they'll work perfectly. Just stuck some tissue in the ports because you never want to get any parts into them ports, and obviously smash the valves to pieces. I've seen it done so many times. I've seen spanners in there a lot. So let's get to fitting this rocker cover back onto the car. So we're going to change over to the original washers that come on the car because they clamp loads better on the rocker cover as opposed to these countersunk washers that were on the car. They just do not do the job properly and they leak. So there you go, it's all back together, looking absolutely incredible compared to how it did when the MFI days. You can see the inlet manifold is looking fresh with its nice satin black again. Put some new nuts, locking nuts on there as well, and the EFI part has all been polished up. Just give it a quick sand down and some metal polish, and that looking great again. So let me know in the comment section what you think we should do next to the car. If there's anything, I think it's looking good. Engine bay looking good. We can tidy it up a little bit in the future, but as you know, this is not a show car, it's a track car.